Well, good morning. Welcome back. It's so good to see everyone again. Matt, good to be with you here on another Tuesday morning and Breakfast with Bill. Today, we're going to talk about something that's hard for a lot of us to say. It's one of those words that many of us have a speech impediment, which prevents us from saying, and that's the word no. Now, how do we artfully say no? Not just literally, how do we say no to certain things, but how do we figuratively prioritize and understand the right activities we need to exercise, we need to complete so that we can have clarity in all of our interactions and communications and be able to execute with effectiveness. And Matt, this is a topic that I think is near and dear to your heart because although I struggle to say no and I don't know if I've ever actually said no, you say it with great ease and have no difficulty.
Yep, and I have no problem saying it for you, or
That's
on
right.
behalf of you. But it seems counterintuitive, I think, in both realms, whether we look at the salesperson and the art of saying no to a prospect, because there are opportunities where we should say no. And then I think also as a leader or internally, it's very difficult to say no because we want to be part of the team. If we're a leader, we can always do it better or quicker or faster, and we could just get it done and we can just move on. So I think the ability to, as you said, Bill, it's not just about saying no. It's about finding opportunities to say no, but more importantly, grow the people around you. Maybe delegate a task, build a process that we're not just throwing a responsibility to the side and not doing it, but it's tasking someone, it's teaching someone, and the power of being able to do that. And what we always talk about, working on our unique abilities uh, as a leader, as a salesperson, as a member of the organization. How do we do that? And, how do we position ourselves for RGAs, revenue generating activity as salespeople? And I don't know if we have an acronym for leaders. Maybe we should come up with one. But the highest and best use of our time as leaders.
Yeah, maybe it's GSD, which stands for get stuff done,
Very
right?
technical.
And
Yep.
yeah, let's get stuff done. And the reason we don't often delegate to people is because we think we can either do it better, do it more efficiently. The exercise I like to walk through with leaders a lot is you have this activity, it takes you 15 minutes to do. It would take you an hour to teach, but it might be an activity that you do on a weekly basis. And we think, oh, I'm just going to do it because it's too long. I don't have the patience, and I really don't want to teach Sally how to do that. The reality is, if you were to take that hour, invest it, and teach Sally and help Sally so that she can do it for you on a weekly basis, number one, Sally grows. Number two, think about the ROI on your time. What's the return on that investment of your 1 hour? You pick up 15 minutes a week for 52 weeks, right? So, we need to be a little more open-minded about how we grow other people, and that could be how we grow some of our colleagues. Matt and I have all been inside a lot of organizations where there's one person that knows how to get certain things done. And it might be a salesperson that knows how to do something in the CRM or do something inside the contracts. And they have to be involved in every one. And rather than teach people and scale that skill, they hold it, they keep it. And sometimes the organization then becomes comfortable with that. That person develops meaningfulness. They develop their own sense of specialness inside the organization. The reality is it's not the highest and best use of their time. They should be passing that skill on so they could go out and do other things like interact with clients and prospects and help grow the business, not do administrative functions.
Yeah, and two things you said there. I think one, I can do it faster. That is that is so deadly to
Hmm.
leaders within an organization. We hear that weekly. I could just do it. I've been doing it for a long time. That will take someone else five times the time to do it. But think about how many of those activities or things you do on a daily basis. I mean, it's,
Hmm.
it's remarkable once you start adding it up and how much it starts with good intent, teamwork, get it done. Let's be impactful, and all those things that we talk about. It's with that intent and through that lens. But realistically, it starts moving you off track of your core responsibility in many cases. So, I think that I can just get it done quicker. I'm just going to do it. It's going to take a long time. I think that's dangerous. And then from a salesperson perspective, as you said, people that have maybe a unique skill set, whether it's a little bit of marketing or CRM or a certain relationship. Um,
Or things they've historically done, just as the nature of the business has grown.
yeah, great point. I think it's a great opportunity to pause and think about that, and to maybe target that and find someone in the organization or talk with leadership about, who else can we pull in? Where can we have some redundancy? Where can we maybe not have a bottleneck that I'm out doing RGAs, or the
Mhm.
other place we see it sometimes is in training, where if there's not necessarily a robust training program, a salesperson gets pulled back in, to do ride-alongs and do a lot of, training exercises that may or may not, or should not be their responsibility. So, um,
Makes them feel good, and
yeah,
sometimes
part of
leaders and
the team.
owners use that as a way to make someone feel like they're more important than they might necessarily be. Not that we're not all important, but they
Yep.
give them these duties to make them feel elevated. When the reality is, we're stealing from them doing the things that they should be doing, which is out generating revenue. And with regard to generating revenue, some of the things salespeople struggle with saying no to, on this theme of saying no, they struggle with saying no to prospects because it feels good to have a dog in the fight. And sometimes we pursue business we shouldn't be pursuing. Sometimes we get real excited to submit RFPs and participate in the RFP process, even if we know we're not going to win. And I had a conversation this week, Matt, that you can relate to, and it was with an individual that said they're going back to meet with somebody who they submitted an RFP to. I guess it was a year or two ago, and they lost because of price. And they knew going into it they were going to be more expensive than some of the other providers. And they just submitted the RFP and kind of hoped that they would win. And now they're being called back because the lower cost providers didn't perform the way they needed to, the way the business needed them to. And they said they're going back through this exercise, but they're still not sure this company sees the value in paying more for them. And they asked me, they said, well, what can we do about that? And I said, well, I would probably want to ask them how they're going to view price this time, right? How are they going to view what's different now? What's happened since the last time we got together that makes you more open to paying more money now, or makes you recognize the value of what we do and you're willing to pay a premium for it versus paying the lowest price and maybe getting a product and a service that isn't sufficient or up to your standards?
Hmm. Yeah, there's not a week that goes by in coaching where I don't see a deal that comes back around, and someone that had the confidence or the ability in the moment to say no. And there's a right way to say no, but I cringe whenever I hear paper on the streets. We're just getting paper on the streets. If you don't get it on the street, you can't win. And I guess in a sense that is true. However, our job in sales is not to participate. And I think there are a lot of salespeople and sales processes that um, their end goal is to participate. But sales is not a participation sport. So we're in it to actually win. And, I think we've talked a lot about in the past of not discussing it through us and saying, well, that's not our policy, or we can't do that, or that, that's not something that we would be interested in. I always coach and change the language back to the person as we're asking questions. And if we are going to say no, Mr. Prospect, it would be really unfair to you if we gave you a proposal because of X or because of Y. And as we're going down that path, for instance, if it is price, I think we have to be bold enough as salespeople when we realize it might be a little short, even if we haven't created our proposal yet. Are you open to the possibility that price might be um, one of the reasons why you could be in this position. And so I think it's some of that proactive questioning and setting the stage and being unafraid to walk away, because I can guarantee you if you just submit a price and it's really high or not what they're looking for, or they tried to water down a solution and we have more of a robust solution. If we just submit a price, we have far less likelihood for them coming back around. But if we're bold enough to talk about this is going to be unfair to you, um,
Hmm.
and we're able to shift the paradigm. Weekly, I hear a salesperson reach out and say, guess who called back? That one from 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 2 years ago. They're
Hmm.
ready to really understand our process or how we
Hmm.
do it, because we were different. So, you know, again, not saying we're looking for all the opportunities, not to win deals or provide proposals, but the power and the benefit of not submitting one in certain situations.
Yeah, and I think that, not every prospect, not every client, somebody we should be looking to say no to, but we have to help people understand how they're going to say yes, right? That's part of the art of this, and and helping somebody through the process of saying, hey, when the proposals come back and ours is going to be 20% higher, is it going to immediately get eliminated? Or when the proposals come back and you see that there's someone who stands out from the crowd with a low price, how are you going to evaluate that? What's your criteria? Is it going to be price driven? Because if so, we're probably not the right participants. Is it going to be, are you going to leverage and look at the experience that everybody brings, the approach, the rate, the reviews? If it's a product that you have Google reviews for, is it the references and other clients we work with? What's going to be important to you as you go through this process beyond price? And I think when we do that, we start setting ourselves up to truly have success and clarity in those relationships. So remember, not everybody's somebody for us to say no to. Not everybody's somebody we want to hear yes from as well, because we want to make sure we're pursuing good business and not just business. As a leader, it's critical. And by the way, we're all leaders. So you might not have a title that says I'm a leader. You might not have a title that says VP, but we're all leaders. So when we're growing those people around us, when we're growing those people that for whom we've been given responsibility, when we are truly living an intentional life where we're looking to make life better for others rather than making it easier for ourselves, then it's our responsibility to find those areas to help grow others and know what we need to do with our responsibility to the organization to have that success, which means we need to know what to say no to so that we can go out and get stuff done. Some people might have a different word in the middle for S, but we want to make sure we're getting stuff done because this is a family show. And when we're getting stuff done, we're going to be more effective and we fulfill our commitments and our promises to the business and to all those who depend on us and rely upon us. And with that, we wish you guys a good week. We hope you go out and know what to say yes to, know what to say no to, manage that time well, and manage that execution well. And we hope you have a great week. And we look forward to being with you again next week.